Let's get to our chief political anchor and anchor of Special Report, Bret Baier, who's been watching the proceedings there on Capitol Hill. You heard Harry Dunn there at the closing saying that a lot of people have said that this is political. He said, well, January the 6th was political. And he said, telling the truth shouldn't be hard. We did hear some compelling testimony, Bret. Saw a lot of very dramatic video that we saw initially play during the president's impeachment hearings some months ago. Your thoughts on what we saw?
Yeah, John, Sandra, good afternoon. I've watched every minute of this, and if you were watching, you saw compelling, at times damning, emotional testimony from these four officers who fought the line to try to protect the Capitol and the lawmakers inside. For anybody who looked at that and looked at the videos and their testimony about that day and thought that it was not violent, I think that was an eye-opener. We've obviously talked about January 6th a lot in this time since then, but putting it all together and seeing it again is jarring. And to listen to these officers say how they really fought to hold on to their lives. Officer Michael Fanone, who you mentioned, saying that he was getting beaten, and finally, when he thought that it was almost coming to an end, that he was going to die, he yelled out, "I have kids," to try to get some sympathy from the people who were beating him. He then went on to, in that opening statement, say how upset he was and how upset he was with the indifference of some lawmakers to that day, or downplaying the significance of that day, at one point slamming his hand on the table and saying, this cannot stand. I think that while Republicans politically are saying that this is a partisan effort and that they charge that it's not going to get to the questions that they think are important about January 6th, why were the Capitol Police so ill-prepared for what happened that day, you cannot watch this testimony and say that it's not a big deal. And you cannot watch this testimony and say that there are questions that are going to take us places that I don't think we know where we're going to go yet.
And Bret, as John just mentioned, Jim Banks, one of the two GOP lawmakers rejected by Nancy Pelosi to serve on this committee, will be joining us in just a moment. But to your point about the questions many Republicans feel they have that went unanswered, they claim in this testimony, Kevin McCarthy is one of them. He asked what you won't hear from Pelosi's, as he calls it, sham committee. Why was the Capitol left so vulnerable that day? Why wasn't the National Guard here? He asked, why didn't we have a better security posture? What changes are needed to make sure it never happens again? Do these Republicans have a point in that some of these questions went unasked?
Well, today, this is the opening, kind of setting the table, but I think that you heard from Liz Cheney that they're going to ask every question, not only about who was communicating and doing what in the Capitol, but also in the White House, and you would hope that down the road here you get to those questions about actual security presence and what the positioning of the National Guard, et cetera. And Speaker Pelosi has a role in that as far as the overseeing of the whole Capitol security and presence and what that looks like going forward and how does it change. But I do think they're going to get to the stirring up question. They're going to get to dismissing that it was the FBI, some deep state operation, that it was Antifa or Black Lives Matter, and that it was nonviolent. And I think today set the table on that front.
Yeah, to say it was nonviolent, I think, would be in contradiction with the video that we saw there today, Bret, and again that we saw back in January during the impeachment proceedings. You heard one of the officers say there in the wrap-up that we need to know if someone in power was influencing all of this. That would, apparently be a nod to President Trump in that speech that he gave on the morning of January the 6th. And both Benny Thompson, who's chairing the Select Committee, as well as Liz Cheney, have said that they have not ruled out the possible issuance of subpoenas to former President Trump and others in his inner circle. Do you expect that we could see that? Because that would, A, be a pretty strong precedent, and B, potentially be a big hill to climb.
It potentially would, but I don't put it past this committee. I mean, just listening to opening statements, as you mentioned, from Chairman Benny Thompson and Liz Cheney, both saying that they want to get to the bottom of every communication, every back and forth. I mean, I would expect Mark Meadows and Ivanka Trump and others who were in the White House that day to be asked or possibly subpoenaed to be questioned. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and other lawmakers may also be called to testify. And, you know, what that battle looks like as far as testimony, we'll have to see how it plays out.
Bret,
All right.
thank you for sticking around with us through that hearing this morning, the several hours of it. Bret, thank you.
You bet.